Hello, friends. It's Chop.
It could be both. Maybe God made aliens.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Honestly, it's an interesting philosophical and religious area of ponder. But I think practically, like, does God exist or not? It doesn't have much bearing on your life. But that doesn't mean it's not worth it to consider or think about.
You should still be a good person, whether God exists or not. Act like he's there. Act like he's going to give you that arc, and whether aliens exist or not, don't litter.
Oh, is it? Yeah, because when you litter, you're fucking up the planet. They're not going to visit. Matt, like that the Dan Aykroyd, Larry King thing.
Yeah, after 9/11, they were like, no way, we can't touch those humans.
No, yeah, Dan Aykroyd said, Larry King asked him, he's like, do you think the aliens are going to visit us? And he was like, I'm very pessimistic, especially after 9/11.
All right, next question.
Huge fan of the show and huge fan of Felix's thoughts on animals. I'd like to hear specifically some of Felix's thoughts about bears. His favourite type of bears, what he thinks bears get up to when no one is looking, that kind of thing. Cheers.
That was from Timothy S. And it sounds like New Zealand.
Thank you, Timothy. I love the brown bear. I think the grizzly bear rather. I think they have the most developed sense of humor out of all the bears. The thing that I like about bears is that I think in some ways they're more person-like than a lot of apes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're more guy than dog, really. They fool you into thinking that they're dog-like with their ears, but they're actually very guy-like.
It's like a guy got turned into a dog by like a wizard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that we see a little bit of what they do to amuse themselves when the video of the bear walking by the school bus imitating a person's walk. I think there's a lot of humor in the bear world, clearly. And I did see something the other day. Mind you, this was from one of those accounts that's called like Dope Facts. So who knows how true this is. But it said that bears, they spend a lot of time looking out into the distance just at things that it serves no function. They're not looking for food. They're not scouting for predators. They just think it looks good. I think they do a lot of things that maybe people would do if we didn't have to wear clothes and we could essentially turn our bodies off for a large part of the year.
Did you see that bear who had like a piece of wood and he was just doing nunchuck shit with it?
Yes. Yeah, no,
He's like dope martial arts moves.
I think they have a lot of amusement and understanding of objects and fun beyond what we've previously thought. I mean, I think sables made me think that a lot of muselids, in fact, and why not bears? They're so much bigger, therefore their brains are bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we saw that panda do a somersault in front of us at the Atlanta Zoo?
Yes.
That was really good.
Oh, that rock.
I just my question about pandas is like, how do they get enough calories to like continue their lives just munching bamboo all day? Like,
That they can barely digest.
Like, how much bamboo do you have to eat to like stay alive as a panda? It's got to be a lot, right?
Just housing bamboo all day. Very inefficient.
Well, I guess I'm gonna be a homer here. I know the question was directed to Felix. I'm gonna be a homer and say my favorite kind of bear is the humble northeastern black bear, because there's never been a recorded attack on a human by a black bear. Unless you fuck with one of their cubs,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're dangerous, but like they don't routinely kill and eat people like brown bears do.
I would say there's no bad bear.
Yeah, no, they're all good. They're
Bears
all
are
really
great.
good.
We
They're all
love
top
bears.
animals.
Even the ones who kill people all the time. In fact, honestly,
better.
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like, oh, black bears don't kill people. It's like, maybe they should. Maybe they should like get their head in the game.
You put a fucking you went to their house and were like, "Oh, we're making it so we can drive our Subarus through here." You built a highway in the middle of their house, and you're like, "Oh, they're bad because they've killed 13 of us over a century." Like, fuck off. Most of the guys that bears kill anyway, it seems to be like just insane guys who like, they existed pre-treatment for the insane syndromes, and we're like, oh, God told me to like go to a bear's house and like molest them because they like me. God told me I speak bears' languages, and the bears always tolerate those guys for 2 years, and then they're like, fuck off, like go away.
Oh, by the way, if any listeners of our show are Russian, could you let us know about warging powers?
Yeah,
because like I am fascinated by the number of Russians I see on the internet who have a full-grown grizzly bear living in their house. Like, talk about bears as guys. They're on the couch together. The fucking carpet stacked up to the wall behind them. They love that shit too.
They're driving a car with a bear in the passenger seat.
And it's I'm sorry, it is only Russians that have this ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the cold? Like what is it that you can commune?
Well,
with these
remember
magisterial creatures.
You got to remember the first men. They made a deal with the children of the forest.
Yeah. It is. They seem to. They don't get Treadwelled as much, the Russians.
Yeah, not at all.
And if they do, it's because they had an argument in the bear language.
It's a legitimate grievance.
Yeah, the same reasons that Russian humans kill each other.
All right, I got just a few more of these for this session. This is from an account called Schizophrenic Reads. Thank you.
I'm really curious as to why there is so little political violence in the United States. And I guess, do you think it will remain this way? And if it won't, what do you think will lead off that type of event? I know Abe was just killed in Japan, but these type of incidents seem few and far between, at least compared to where we were, in the 1960s.
Well, I mean, we just got Hammer Time in San Francisco, so maybe things are changing. We'll see.
I think this is a very interesting question because America as a country is comparable to other developed G8 nations is insanely violent.
Yes.
We are insanely violent as a country, but the targets of that violence are never we shoot up kindergartners, not health insurance boardrooms. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know, what would account for it? I mean, I think it's there's a lot of angry, unstable people in this country with access to guns more than pretty much anywhere else in the world. But at the same time, I just think it's the targets of rage are always
intimate.
So yes, exactly. It is never wedded to any kind of ideological goal or project. I mean, sure, mass shootings by people who blow up a synagogue or shoot Muslims or whatever. I mean, that's what we do get. I mean, that's, I think, probably the most common form of political violence in this country. But you're right. In the 70s, there were bombs going off in this country every fucking day. The thing is, they didn't kill that many people, but it was still going on. And I guess, maybe it's too easy an answer, but I think it's I think most people's lives in America are too comfortable and nice, and people still have too much to lose.
And the people who don't, their trauma and their rage, their frustration are a personalized narrative that requires a personal, intimate, violent solution. The abstractions of politics just don't cut it. Now, the hammer guy in San Francisco who has got mad that he can't jack off to Black Adams or whatever the fuck points to the fact that this is changing a little bit, and people are maybe starting to weld these political figures to their specific array of grievances, but that's only going to result in them getting more security, and so I don't think it's going to result in more violence, because these are the least with it together people, and they're going to be therefore not much. They're going to be made short work of by the Blackwater psychos who are going to just be a permanent human moat between us and anybody with political power.
I think maybe one reason why we don't have an Abe type thing is it's not for a lack of murderers, it's for a deluge of murderers.
Mm-hmm.
The average murderer in America is less determined, dumber, and just shittier at it than, say, a murderer in Japan. That's someone who really wanted to do it.
Well, there's not that many murders in Japan.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you really have to.
Yeah.
You really got to want to do it. And I think that obviously it's conditions, it's ease of life, and I think that will obviously change if things get significantly worse. But I do think a lot of it is delusion, self-delusion. Mm-hmm. I think that Americans are more likely, even when they feel like there's no way out of their lives and they just want to drag people down to hell with them, why do they end up killing people who are pretty much in the exact same spot as they are? It's the same reason that someone who could easily improve their life a lot by doing 3 or 4 things will not do it past a certain age. If I could have done this the entire time, then that means I wasted my life. So I'm just not going to do it. I think it's the same pattern of thinking. And
I mean, I can intuit from the caller's question is that it's not so much a question of because I mean, there is political violence in this country as I laid out, someone who walks into a supermarket in a black neighborhood and kills 13 senior citizens. That's a political act, and it's motivated by, political ideology. I think the question is, why isn't there more left-wing terrorism in this country, or violence? And I think it comes down to is that there is a gap in the two political orientations, in which one side has a vastly larger population of violent idiots.